Hi, welcome to my channel again. Just this time I'm just doing a repair on a MacBook board. So this is a little bit different from what I normally do. I've been doing this for a while. Probably the last 3 months or so. I've been working on MacBook boards and various other things. But this is an A1278 board, which this doesn't have much of a fault. It's just the hopefully it's just the LCD connector is quite damaged, as you can see. When I'll just flick over to the microscope camera by itself. So basically you can see in there's quite a bit of damage to the actual pins inside the connector. So not sure what's happened there, but I'm not sure what those pins are. I know there's a 3-volt line not far from there, and it does actually carry quite a bit of current as well, so it is quite good at burning pins and things. I haven't actually looked up on exactly what the voltages and so on those, but there'll be quite a few grounds and stuff, as they always do. They normally, on most of the MacBooks, they separate the high voltage and lower voltages with ground wires in between, or non-used pins. So I'm not sure. Well, hopefully that isn't a line that goes back to the CPU or something silly like one of the other models. I'm pretty sure it's not. But the basics are that I'll take that connector off. As you can clearly see that it is no good. So I'll just zoom out a bit so you can see a bit more of that. Not really much to this. It's just heat it up, take it off, clean it up, and put a new one on. I've got a generic one that I'll be putting back on, which actually will take both the 2012 and 2011 and 2010 sort of MacBooks as well. So it actually fits both monitor cables, but in saying that, you still have to be careful what monitor you actually connect to the board. So you don't want to go connecting the wrong LCD screen to these. They do actually have some different pinouts and can cause quite a bit of damage to either the LCD screen or the video out on this, or the backlight circuit, whichever. So that's the one I'll replace it with, which actually fits either connector. I can't find the same one. I haven't managed to find the same connector to use on these yet. I have looked, but I've managed to only find this one, which is equivalent to pretty much all of them, it seems. Well, this series anyway. Some of the 15-inch MacBooks actually have a bigger connector, which is actually maybe half that size again. So they're a little bit different. But anyway, enough talking. I'll just see if I can get this off here. It's getting it off is probably the easier bit, to be honest. What I might do is just put a bit of solder on that first, just to hopefully help. It's quite a cold night as well, so that's going to affect how easy it is to get this off the board. These ones don't have as much solder underneath them on the other side either, unlike I think the 2009 and so on actually has quite a bit more solder underneath the this connector, so a little bit more of a problem to sort of get off. So as long as I don't get too much under there. So that's basically that. I'll just get a bit of solder under there. Sorry, I forgot to turn that on. Noisy thing. So that's more or less it. The main thing with this is not losing all the other electronics, obviously. Right, so if we chuck a bit of hot air on that, probably could have changed the nozzle on this to the next size up, but this should be enough. I'm not, like I said, not too worried about this connector melting or anything, and I'm generally not that careful trying to remove them. It's putting the next one on is a bigger challenge. So it's pretty much just heat up the board. Takes a wee while. Right, so that should be hot enough. And it's just a matter of so that solder should be pretty much melted at that end. So you don't want to that's pretty much that. It's one end off. You just follow it down. Again, without trying to that's pretty much that. So that's that one gone. Yeah, so the pads under there actually look pretty good. It's just I'm not sure what's happened to this. What happened to the connector? It's either shorted on something or yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, the only thing I can do is try replacing it and see what happens. Hopefully there's no more faults or problems after that, but if there is, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Actually looks pretty good under there. So maybe it'll just be this. So a bit more flux on there. And I've got the bigger soldering iron. So I've got a micro soldering and also the larger here as well. I'll just grab some cutters. Got a bit of wick here. It's just a standard gate wick that seems to be pretty popular. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a few months. I've been into electronics for a long time, but actually fixing Macbooks has only begun because I spilt a cup of coffee on my $1,600 MacBook and decided to look into repairing them after fixing my own one. So basically I had to do a few repairs in my own MacBook and then decided that I'd carry on doing others. So I've just been basically just buy old MacBooks, fix them. I'm not doing it for customers as such. I just get them, fix them. If it doesn't matter too much if I can fix them or not. There's no pressure. So I just fix them if I can, and then use the parts out of them if I can't, and then just use those for the next one, and so on. So it works out okay. Gives me something to do. I'm always, like I said, I've always been into electronics. I just haven't had the smaller soldering irons like this before, so it's a bit more of a challenge. And of course, using the microscope makes it a bit of a challenge. It makes the job easier actually, but still can be a bit challenging getting used to working with the microscope. Right, so those seem to have worked okay. I've got probably a little bit too much solder on the back pins there. The light in it's quite reflective, so once you get the flux on, it's quite hard to see in the microscope cam what's actually going on. So that's the pins. I might try and what I might do is just get rid of some of that excess solder just on the front, because the best if the plug is as flat as possible, but I don't want to get rid of the solder I've got on the other pins if I can avoid it. And that wasn't hot enough. A bad attempt. So that's pretty much that. There's not much clearance in here. You're only talking a mil, probably not even that, between the pins. And it's between the ground and the pins there's not much either, so yeah, a bit of a challenge to get these on. Not the trickiest thing I've done on these though. This is really easy and relative to some of the other chips and things that I've had to replace. I'm not geared up to do any of the GPU, CPU replacements, and I wouldn't bother, especially on these old boards anyway, even if I could. There's just there's no point. I don't have the equipment to do that. So basically I just do these sort of repairs. I've got some other videos which I'll probably try and upload as well. Not sure when I'll get to upload this one, but I'll try and do that as soon as I can. Right, so the next step is to basically solder that in position. I'll put a bit more flux along the back pins there. The main thing is not to get solder in the front or around where the actual plug goes in the front. It's quite easily done. It just takes a bit of not paying attention for a second, and you've got solder everywhere, so it can be a bit tricky. The way I normally do this is just make sure it's down properly and get that first pin. There's different ways to put these on, but this is the way I find it easiest. It's the easiest pin to solder in place, so you can try and get them all in line. Obviously you want these pins at the end that hold it. This doesn't quite match up with the original, but it holds on there fine. I've used these a few times and they're pretty sturdy. They don't seem to come off or anything, so that's pretty much that. We'll get the other soldering on and we'll do the ends. Yeah, so I'm just going to put a bit of solder on here. So I'll just push it down and heat it up again just to make sure it's definitely flush on the board. And this is where you have to be careful not to get solder, which I haven't done yet, but not to get solder on the end of the connector. So that's pretty much that. It's one end. Just turn it around. Don't struggle with trying to reach the other side without turning it around or whatever. Just make it easy. I used to make the mistake of struggling trying to reach around without moving the board, and that's just not worth it. Just turn the board. So that's that. So that's that one done. And then I'm just going to zoom in a bit so I can see what I'm doing with these pins so I don't mess them up. So I'm not sure what you can see there, but a bit of glare on there, so I can fix it a bit by turning this down. So if I turn that light down a wee bit, I'll just see what I can, see if I can see that okay. Alright, so that's not too bad. It's a bit, I'll just turn it up a wee fraction. Now the next step is making sure all these pins aren't actually too far off the board. They're not actually too bad. Could be a bit closer actually, but should get them okay. Shouldn't be too much of a problem with that. Let's take a look at this one. See how that solders. Yeah, should be right. closer the better, obviously, but like I said, this is a bit of a an aftermarket style connector. Right, so that's that. Get a bit more solder on there, and where all the pins will get soldered together, and I'll spend the next 10 minutes trying to get all that solder off. The other thing, if you drag too heavy on these, you'll end up pushing all the pins to the side and a big mess, so just be careful of that. I'm just going back through a few times. Alright, so got a bit much solder on that last one, which is down here. I'm just going to try and remove that. There's a couple there actually that a bit much on. Main thing is just gradually going through and getting them. So one's okay. Get rid of that excess solder. Alright. Bounced it to the last pin by mistake. So I'm just got to get that turning a little bit just off that last pin. There we go. That's pretty much it. So they look like they're all soldered. They're a little bit higher than what I'd typically want, but they'll still do the job. And they're all pretty solid. So that's pretty much that. It's just a matter of me finding all the bits I need to see if this will fire up. So that's the connector on. Let's get rid of that. Right, so if I clean that, give it a wee spray. Got a bit of glare on it still from all the flux and cleaner, but all the pins look like they're okay. Just try and get that. There's definitely no shorts. It's got good solder contact. I would have preferred if all the pins were actually down a little bit, so there is a little bit of a raise on the pins, but it's not too bad. Right, so if I just find some RAM and MagSafe, everything else, we should be able to at least try this and see what it goes like. I'll just go to let me see, top camera, probably the best one. I'll just push the microscope across there for a minute. Right, so Go MagSafe. I'll just put my glasses back on. I can't use the microscope with glasses. Should probably look at getting contacts or something, but I've never bothered. So basically, what we want, MagSafe. Okay, so we can go that way. So MagSafe, what else do we need? RAM. These motherboards also have tendency to run extremely slow if you don't put the touchpad on. I had two touchpad adapters, but these are the ribbon cables that went to the touchpad, so they actually have the circuitry in that you require, because this the 3515 board has one of the thermal sensors is actually in the touchpad itself. So if you don't put that on, your board will basically not detect all the sensors and the fan will run high speed and the board will run extremely slow. It's okay when it first boots up, it's pretty much the same, but when it starts going into the OS, it'll just be painfully slow. It's not worth the headache. You might as well just get yourself a touchpad or the ribbon cable and plug it in. Only problem with these is if you're not careful with them, they only last so long, so you end up damaging them, which I think both of these ones are actually no good anymore. So yeah, they came off touchpads that were cracked from batteries exploding. So the battery expands, bends the touchpad, cracks the front, and then it's pretty much no good for anything. So that's where those came from. Right, so what else do we need? Right, so we need a screen, obviously, so I'll just have a look up here, see what we've got. Just gotta find one. What have we got? Hey, here's one. This should be, I think this is the right one. You've got to be a little bit careful. This is one that this one I've taken apart, is used all the parts from. I think this actually has one pixel line out in it, so the screen itself is faulty, but it's good enough for testing purposes. So if we plug that in, you've got to be careful with these two. It's a bit hard to tell sometimes, which, so there you go. So it has a smooth side on that side and a slightly recessed side. You can actually plug them in upside down if you're not careful. So in theory, hopefully all going well, that should fit in there. I don't put that down. You just got to be real careful. You pull these LCD screen connectors out while it's live, you have a chance of actually shorting out connectors. So you just got to be real careful that you don't move any of this while it's going. There's a real risk of basically shorting in here. You can burn circuitry out, send backlight voltage down to the wrong place. It's just, yeah, not even worth going there. Just either get a better connector and use the connector to hold it in place, or just don't move any of this when you're trying to test. Otherwise, yeah, it's not worth the hassle. So that's basically it. I suppose a speaker so you can actually hear, hopefully, a chime. What do we got here? Not that one. That is got a broken pin on the end. I think I've got another one. The original backlight one. So that's, oh, sorry, what am I saying? The original speaker, the 4-pin. You can get away with putting the standard 2-pin connector onto the first 2 pins on this connector, and it will actually work as well. What else do we need? We'll go with a memory stick, just to make sure that it's actually doing something. It's a bit quicker doing that than waiting for the little folder icon to turn up. And I think that's more or less it. So as long as the screen is the correct one, and I haven't just hooked up the wrong style to this, we should at least get something. This here is already on. This is a standard MagSafe. I was told this should be okay, but we'll find out in a second, I guess. Yep, it is working. It's got a very purple tinge to it, but I think that's yeah, it's just the angle. the lighting in here. So this screen is pretty poked, to be honest. Didn't get a chime though, which worries me. I have got a light on the USB. Yeah, we've got the logo. It has a bit of a pink tinge to it, so I am hoping it's the LCD screen connector on here. So there's a problem with this connector. So like I said, just be careful on that. So that came right when I moved this. So it's hopefully a problem with that. I don't know if I've got another screen for this model or not. Got one that's just a backlight, but that doesn't help us much. Could actually plug another cable in. Probably no problem in doing that. I've got a few of those. So I'll power that off in a second, and I'll just try the screen with another cable. Make sure it's not a problem with the MacBook. I'm hoping it's definitely fairly red. It's still doing something, but it's not sure it liked me touching the monitor or not. Nothing seems too hot or anything, so it seems okay there. Let's try another connector on here. I was really sure this monitor was okay, so it still could be a problem with the actual motherboard, logic board. Put that in the wrong way, didn't I? Actually, let's get a new cable. I don't remember where I put them. Yeah. Okay, so I'll go with a new one just to make sure. I may even have the proper one for this MacBook. Okay. Just having a look, see if I can find another screen actually. Let's get I don't know what screens I've got. That looks more like us. Is it the right one? Looking at the wrong end. I think the one I've got is the one I want. Trying to get this sorted, so that should be that way. I'm not sure why that connector fitted so easily. It looks like they all face the other way. This might go up in smoke, that'll be interesting. Right, so that's back on. I'll just find the what do I do with that? Under here. Get rid of all these things that might short things out. Alright, so that's plugged back in. Just got to double check all these things, make sure it's all tight. Oh, it's definitely working. That speaker, the speaker's buggered. That's why it's not chiming. I actually heard it, but it's extremely quiet. I think there's something stuck in there. Doesn't help. I think there's a, I don't know, there's something stuck in there. But that was just a connector. So that's pretty much white now. It doesn't have that pink tinge anymore. Oh yeah, there's a, you can see under the microscope, my speaker has a, it's ripped, and there's something going on there. So that speaker did actually chime, but it was just really quiet. Oh yeah, that's, I don't know what's happened to that. I thought that speaker was okay, but it's obviously not. Anyway, back to the top cam. This video is starting to get a bit long, and wasn't really my intention, although it does take a wee while to actually do these things. It's not a 5-minute job. Right, so that should boot into, this is just a this one's El Capitan, I think. Install disk. I could have actually used another one which is a bit smaller, would have been a bit quicker to boot, but it always takes a wee while off a memory stick. There's no point in leaving that speaker on there anyway. It's naffed. So I'll do another. I mean, normally when you get if you fix a MacBook and just get a fan spin, then that's only part of it, because you can actually get fan spin on these. No LCD backlight. Maybe the fan will spin, but you're not actually getting any CPU. That's why I've got the memory stick in there. So I could just say, I could have stopped and not bothered booting into this at all. I've got a chime, got the fan's not over revving, the light on the USB stick. I could have just said, yep, it's good. But I figured I'd just, for the sake of it, I'll just boot into this so you can see it actually does work. And the problem with this monitor, you can see it quite clearly, is that line, there's a pixel out. So this monitor I actually took apart, took the backlight out of it, and attached that to another LCD screen that was good, that had a bad backlight, and I used that in another MacBook repair. So put all back together. These are a lot easier to work on than, say, the MacBook Air or something like that, where I've actually cracked a couple of the screens trying to take them out because the backlight is in the back. Oh, actually, I've probably got one here somewhere. Yeah, small MacBook up here. I don't know, all the bits will probably go everywhere if I bring this down, but this is one that I did try repairing, but it was quite tricky. So you can't really see it, but the backlight is part of the back case in these, and when you try and take the screen out, it comes out as one piece. It's extremely thin, and it's quite tricky to actually get out, so quite easy to break them. I learnt the hard way. Gotta give it a crack, but it's not really worth trying to replace them, to be fair. They're not the old, it's only a 2011, I think it's the 11-inch MacBook Air. I actually ended up getting 3 of them, I think. Fixed one, kept it, and selling another one, which I did I replaced the whole backlight and LCD screen in it. Got a new one basically, for a new, not a genuine, just an aftermarket one. Seems to work okay, so I put it all back together and it seems to be working. Right, so that's basically the install. It's all working fine. It's got all the right colours. Try not to move that too much, like I said. That's pretty much it. So that was a pretty straightforward repair for this one. I've done other ones where I've followed all around the board and, you know, to repair various things. I did one just for, so I'll try and, I don't know, once I work out the video editing software, I'll put another one up online, which is actually this other one which I repaired not that long ago. Not that one, it was another one actually, wherever that went. But it's had a lot more going on. It's underneath here. It's not yeah, it's got wires hanging off it and all sorts, but any jumper wires and things put across it. But it's quite a badly damaged board, a lot of corrosion on it. So it wasn't this one. Like I said, it was another one. Because I can't be bothered getting it out from underneath the monitor in case I was sitting underneath here. So it's that one there. But anyway, that's enough. I'll wind up this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully it's useful to someone. It's like I said, if you want to have a crack at repairing these things or get into electronics, the setup I got, there's quite a bit of gear on this desk. I'll switch over to, I'll see if this other camera is still going. It has a habit of turning off. Let's see, put it out of focus. Show my messy desk, and I'll just focus that up a bit. Not the best camera for this, so I'll probably look at getting a better camera for this job. But I mean, I've got my, just over the back, the oscilloscope, microscope cam, obviously. That's just a standard arm. I've reversed that to make it a bit easier. I put a light at the back, which is a recent addition because it was a bit hard to see what was going on back here. But it's just a standard tube. So it does cause a bit of flicker on the cameras, which I'm not sure if that's going to show or not in the videos, but we'll see. It seems alright at the moment. It depends on which camera I'm using as well. Like the top camera, I think shows the flicker a bit more. I have other camera views as well, obviously, like I've got a multimeter view, which it's just a cut down version zoomed in. That same one, which I was going to get a USB multimeter, but figured that that's an easier way to do it. And I've already, like I said, I've already bought that Fleet multimeter specifically for doing these repairs and working on better electronics. I've got quite a few multimeters, but nothing as good as the Fleet one that I've bought. What else is got all my component drawers and things over the back. I've also got the, like I said, the oscilloscope over the back here, which I can. I've got the software loaded on the PC, so I can actually show that in the background as well. So if I bring that up, I don't use the oscilloscope very much for these repairs. It's only really for making sure that you've got clock signal, various data lines are working, that sort of thing. Like if you've got no CPU activity, you might find that a resistor's actually gone on the clock circuit, and it's as simple as that. You could replace that resistor and the board fires up, and that might be MCP or PCH chip, might be something on that side. So basically the whole board isn't firing up. Sometimes you can tell that the MCP or PCH is actually heating up, so you know that that's more or less working okay. And the CPU may not be getting any voltage, so there's something missing there. Some of these boards are easier to work that stuff out than others. Like I actually don't mind working on the 3115 board because it's actually a bit more logical than some of the other ones that they have. So some of the boards I hate are the 2530s and that sort of thing, because some of the circuitry is a bit harder to get your head around. So I'd suggest you'd look at if you did want to start looking at these boards, the 3115 is actually probably an easier one to work out, like I said, than some of the others. I've got a really horrible view there, so I'll just change back. But yeah, so if you were looking at starting to look at these, I'd look at some of the older sort of 2012 onwards kind of thing. 3115 board, like I said, is quite an easy one to, I wouldn't say easy, it's easier than some of the others to work out some of the faults. Quite a common thing that goes wrong is some of the capacitors short, and you end up with short to ground. Sometimes you can only find them by putting voltage on the board, things like that, but in general, I found this board more logical and easier to find certain faults than some of the others. Right, I'll just grab that. I'll just show you that oscilloscope software quickly, then I'll wrap this video up. It's probably dragged on a bit longer than I anticipated, but if I connect to my oscilloscope and bring up the virtual oscilloscope software. So I can basically with that, so I've got the main view of the cameras. I've got the top view, which is you've already seen quite a bit of. The microscope one, so you know that's reasonably clear. It's probably not as clear as some of the ones I've seen online, and I do have a bit of glare issue, but it's not too bad. Side camera, then you've got the multimeter and top, microscope, and then this should be the, oh yeah, there we go. It just came up online then. A little bit to respond. So that's the oscilloscope software working. The only problem with that is I can't use the buttons on the front of the oscilloscope when I'm using it. So I've got to keep on moving around to try and get the signal. So if I was checking something on the board, I'd probably have it under the microscope. I don't want to move it too far, but if I was say checking the 3.5 volt line, that line should be moving between that and 3.5 roughly. But I don't use it for multimeter. I just only really use it when I'm checking signals, frequencies. So 32 clock and things like that. So yeah, that's about it. Now the camera views, and of course I've got the board view. That's board view software, PDF software as well. That's on a different button. So I'll just use a Stream Deck to switch between all these. It's a bit easier than the PC that I have to control all this is actually more or less behind me when I'm doing these videos, so it makes it a bit hard. Now that's just switched off, so what's that doing? Oh, yeah, it's just gone to sleep on me. That's alright. So that's pretty much it. I'll shut this off and hopefully I'll get to make some more of these videos. I'll probably be doing one straight after this actually, which is another MacBook which has a little bit more of a repair to do. Nothing too major though. I think it's just I think it's a circuitry. Pretty sure it's the circuitry down here which controls I think it's some sort of a I'm just trying to remember. I can't remember if it monitors voltage or something else, but basically slows things down if it's not right, so it makes the laptop run extremely slow, similar to if you don't have these sensors in. So yeah, I'll try and do that one shortly. Right, I'll leave it to it. Cheers. Hopefully that video helped somebody. Cheers.